Welcome back to this Friday's Not So Critical Update, or welcome to Friday's Not So Critical Update if you're new to the channel. If you're not new to the channel, thank you for coming back. Also, we'd appreciate if you just hit that like button to give us a little boost in the old
the
algorithms to try and boost that up. Rage-inducing episode today. I was gonna say fun. I feel like I always say fun, but it wasn't really fun. It was kind of aggravating.
No.
Definitely a not so political show today. Absolutely political show today, but you know what I mean.
It's about this show up act from Senator Marsha Blackburn, who wants federal employees to go back to the office because of a backlog. It's nonsense. It makes me angry, and I end up talking about the UK and how messed up it is over here as well.
Yeah.
So,
and I don't know if Mikey still listens to the show, but if he does, this one's for you, buddy.
Yeah, this is nothing personal to any of my Republican friends, by the way. John checks in with us as well, so you might want to stick around for that.
Peter, it's just you and me again with an infuriating, rage-inducing article here today for us to look at, but without John once again.
Yeah. This great act from hang on a second. What's her name? Senator Marsha Blackburn. We'll talk about that in a second because John, not with us again.
No, but he did send me another video message.
Okay, all right.
Should I play it now?
Yeah. No, I'm interested. Go on.
We thought he was going to be back today, but apparently he's still off doing whatever.
Hey guys, you two did such a great job this week, which is a sincere belief that I absolutely hold.
Oh, that sounds sarcastic.
Bleck, that I've decided not to come back just yet. Plus, I just got invited to a new beetle fighting ring here in Sunnydale, California, where I definitely live at 1630 Ravello Drive. Anyway,
that's an interesting.
I'll see you on Monday.
Very specific address there.
Yeah, it sounds familiar. I don't know. Maybe somebody will look it up.
He's got an interesting background. Like he's done some shit in his life. I don't want to talk too much about it because he's a very private person. But give him a couple of milkshakes and he'll open up. So, yeah.
I like that saying.
You know what it's like. It just
sure. Obviously,
it doesn't take much.
No.
So,
fun
story. I did not know about this. The screen's blank, by the way.
Oh, did I? Maybe I have to reconnect here. Sorry. Back to the show. We had some technical difficulties there.
Blip.
Fuck it. We'll do it live.
Anti-telework bill makes its way to the Senate. So I've got a question straight off the bat. It's called the Show Up Act in capitals. Do they come up with the acronym first and then figure out what it means?
Yeah, I'm nearly sure they do. Stopping Home Office Work's Unproductive Problems Act. Show up.
Oh God.
These guys are allegedly clowns.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Senator Marsha Blackburn. Let's talk about the bill itself a bit.
Yeah. So this is the Senate version of a bill that has actually already passed the House of Representatives in the Congress.
Has it? Wow.
It has. And I'll just read why they think they're doing this. Basically, what they're doing is requiring
why they think they're doing
all federal employees. Why they claim they're doing it. It's terrible. They're requiring all federal agencies to return to their telework policies that they had on December 31st of 2019, which was just before the pandemic. So anybody who's been allowing more work from home or telework will be required to stop whatever policies they have now and go back to those policies. And they say the bill stemmed from congressional Republicans' ire at the number of service backlogs at federal agencies, including the Social Security Administration and Internal Revenue Service, which they attributed, at least in part, to federal employees working remotely during the COVID-19 pandemic. And that is total and utter bullshit.
Yeah, it is. I'd really love to see the justification of this. I probably should go and read the bill just so I can take the piss out of it properly. I saw a comment from Senator Marsha Blackburn on the Twitter saying, it's time federal bureaucrats get back to in-person work and focus on serving the American people, not nap time in the middle of the day. Right. That's why Congress should pass my Show Up Act, ending remote work for federal employees, which is not quite what the bill says, because it's supposed to be back to what their remote work policy was before the pandemic, but which may have included remote work. But hey, what is up with these people? I mean, and I've always said it comes back to like wanting more control over employees, but it just, I mean, are they like pandering to companies here? Are they just trying to? Whose goodwill are they trying to get here?
I think it's this same continuation of the threat of like anti-vax, anti-mask, do it the old-fashioned way. If it was good enough for my parents, then it's good enough for my kids, and like all this kind of nonsense of just the workers are lazy. If we can't supervise them in the office, then they're probably not doing what they want, what they're supposed to be doing. It's so cynical and meaningless.
Yeah. What was that? Will Hoyt's law. This was this is actually misattributed. But this is something I heard a while ago. And look, I don't want this to turn into like an anti-Republican tirade or anything, but it kind of sounded true to me. Like Frank Wilhoit, he said, conservatism consists of exactly one proposition. There must be in-groups whom the law protects but does not bind, alongside out-groups whom the law binds but does not protect. This seems increasingly true. But apparently he didn't say that. It was from somebody in a I don't know, Reddit thread or something like that. But it kind of sums up, like I said, a lot of the stuff that Republicans and the Tory party do doesn't make sense to me and isn't backed by like common sense. But it's that kind of like explains everything, basically.
Well, kind of. I mean, there clearly are conservatives and Republicans who are federal employees that would also be affected by this.
True, but should they still be supporting this law? I don't know.
I mean, so I guess if you look at conservative report, Republican support, you could split it into people who are directly affected by things and people who just root for them from the outside. I think that explains a lot of behavior also, and probably I'm sure for liberals also. They have this. There's a political theory called "Not in My Backyard," NIMBY, not in my backyard, that says, I'm for all these great things unless you want to do it in my neighborhood, and then maybe somebody else could do that. Like, let's house poor people, but not here where I live, someplace else. So I think there's some of that. I think to me, what really, so it's frustrating that it continues to be this like corporate control. Get back to the office. You're lazy if you're working from home. All this stuff that we've talked on the show before. I think politically, the piece that really kind of pushes me over the edge is where they talk about how their main concern is the work backlog. And they use the IRS specifically as an example. In 2022, all these Republicans ran explicitly on the message of let's defund the IRS. We offered funding for the IRS, but that's going to create an army of agents coming to your door to steal your guns and control you, and we got to get rid of them. So we want to cut the funding, cut personnel, but we're so concerned about productivity that we have to get everybody back in the office because we really care about resolving these backlogs. Let's not fund them. Let's not staff them. Let's just complain and make everybody's life more difficult and inconvenient.
It does seem to be this cycle of like, causing problems, losing power, and then going back and blaming all those problems on the party that's in power, like, and then saying, "Oh, we're going to fix all that stuff," when it was really, kind of their fault in the first place.
Yeah. Which, if your political message is the government is broken, that serves you pretty well. See, I broke the government. Now it's broken. This is what I've been saying. It doesn't work because I broke it.
My original understanding of Republicans was that it was small government. It doesn't really have that much power and doesn't affect the I was going to say the end user, but like the
the end users of a democracy.
Yeah, that's right. Real people, that much, and they kind of restrict themselves. But it doesn't seem to work like that in real life. By the way, I have to say that there's the same kind of shit happens in the UK all the time. It's very much this like. So recently, there's this. I think it's Priti Patel. She was like the Home Secretary for a while. All the Home Secretaries are utter fucks, as far as I'm concerned. They will just want to, the latest thing in the UK with immigration is that they want to send immigrants to Rwanda, put them on a plane and just send them off to Rwanda. Anyway, so the current Tory party has lost a lot of seats recently in the local elections, like 1,000 countrywide, and so someone started a new Conservative party, like Conservative First or Britain First, like one of these like ultra right things,
not ultra, but exercise.
Yeah, and they just blame the current government, the Tory party, on all the problems and say, yes, well, I've seen from inside the Tory party that these problems were happening when she was the fucking Home Secretary, and half these problems are her fault.
Yeah,
there was a thing recently with. Sorry to keep I'm going on a rant about UK politics here, but
it's not so political hour today.
Yeah. So there was another thing where Jacob Rees-Mogg, who is a comical figure, he wears like a top hat, and he went to Eton, and he's just a ridiculous man. We've got a thing recently where they require voters to have a photographic ID, which is basically a passport. The Tories introduced this as basically a form of gerrymandering, and they found out that most of the people without passports are old people who are the ones who vote Tory. So they fucked themselves. And
nice.
Jacob Rees-Mogg did a piece about it, saying, "Oh yes, well, anybody who tries gerrymandering just isn't gonna labeled it, used the word gerrymandering, and said, yeah, they're gonna find out it's not gonna be successful." When he voted for it, it was, oh my god, it's so.
That's kind of what happened with mail-in voting in our last presidential election. The Republicans came out and said, mail-in voting is terrible. Nobody should do mail-in voting. So all the conservatives who were going to do mail-in voting didn't vote. All right. Good job. Congratulations.
Oh, man. Yeah.
So back to I think bill. A lot of, you mentioned small government before too, and I think a lot of times people complain about regulations along the same vein, that there's too many rules, there's too many regulations.
Yeah.
But what people always seem to gloss over is that there's only a law because somebody did the thing. If you didn't do it, so we see with people talk about, since we're being political, Trump doing all these things that were unheard of, and that nope, not technically illegal. Because nobody thought somebody would do that. Now we have to make laws about it. This is how it works. This is why we can't have nice things.
I like the principle side of things. In law is is there any reasonable doubt, and that could be interpreted in lots of different ways. And I quite like that because it means it's you have to use common sense in every situation, and it's context sensitive. And what was the other one? Beyond reasonable doubt and innocent and proven guilt. These kind of that's very specific. But I think it's better setting the principles and then building the framework around that, and so it doesn't actually necessarily get in the way of future situations which nobody's thought of yet, like Trump.
Yeah, if the law could simply be "don't be a dick," and everybody would be fine.
Basically, be the law, right? Yeah.
But then you get everybody, that's not technically illegal. All right, whatever.
So hang on, something I didn't quite read. I must have missed this. I did read the article, but this has already passed at the Senate level.
Back in February, it had passed in the Congress, and now this is the Senate version of the bill. And if it passes in the Senate, then it could potentially go to be, hopefully. So, I don't even think Biden would veto it because he's already been trying to scale back themselves. Oh, there was one other thing I wanted to say about the bill. Did you have a follow-up?
I had a question about who controls the Senate and the Congress at the moment.
Republicans control the Congress by a very small margin, and Democrats control the Senate by an even smaller margin.
Okay.
So the one other piece that I wanted to say is that the part of the law is that if any agency wants to expand telework beyond 2019 levels, they would have to submit a certified plan to Congress first. So the heads of these departments don't get a say in how the departments are run. The head of the executive branch doesn't get a say in how their departments are run. The Congress, they're the ones that have to dictate how, day to day how the scheduling of an agency should be handled, because they want it some certain way so that they can, message their nonsense to their base. It's ridiculous.
How is that going to work, man, in practice? It's not.
No, it's absurd. Not. Well, I mean, people will go back to the office and it's just going to be an arbitrary rule that decreases job satisfaction and probably makes people not to want to work for the federal government, to which small government conservatives say, mission accomplished.
Well, probably what will happen is that it will increase the backlogs if it passes, and then they'll get to blame that on the Biden administration.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. See, you get it. You know how it is.
That's what's happening. Sorry to circle back to the UK again, because I keep on thinking of terrible, parallels. That's what's happening with Brexit at the moment. Is Brexit is a big old fuck up, big massive failure, causing all sorts of problems. And what's happening is that the Brexiteers are blaming their own government for failure of administration. They didn't get it done. That's the thing. They didn't get Brexit done properly. Like it could have worked, but you didn't do it. That's it. That's all the kind of reasoning they got. Not.
Yep. Anything more than that would require too much thought. Yep. All right. Yeah. Well, hopefully we have John back Monday in whatever condition he's in. We'll keep our fingers crossed for that. It was nice doing another week here of the show with you, Peter. Kind of old school.
Yeah. More AI stuff coming up next week. I'm quite looking forward to that.
AI stuff.
Fun things, actually.
The Google .zip and .mov top level domains we'll talk about a little bit.
Yes, I have a slightly controversial standpoint on that. I think we might talk about that next. And I don't know. I'm probably going to be proven wrong very quickly, but I just don't think it's as big a problem as people would say. But we'll talk about that next time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway,
come back.
All right. And before we go, just a big thank you to everybody who's subscribed so far. And if you haven't subscribed, we really appreciate it. If you're still watching, if you just hit that subscribe button, we're close to 500 subscribers, which is not very much by many people's standards. But for us, it means a lot. So genuinely, thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed the episode and keep watching for the future.
See you next week.